Now back to getting ready for the finale. And now you're in Madison. So previously you danced with Michael Whitty up in Green Bay. So that's probably not going to be happening unless you're willing to drive back and forth, which you were
Yeah.
hoping to avoid. So talk about you finding a dance partner and then figuring out what song you're going to dance to and all of that good stuff.
Yeah. So when Chelsea danced the year before and then came back for All Stars, her dance partner was Charles with Arthur Murray down here in Madison.
She was
So
going to
that
school. She was going to UW
correct.
at the
Yes.
time.
Yep. And so it was nice that we already had that connection. So we didn't have to completely, find somebody new for me to dance with. And so, met Charles and everything and talked through. And as far as song, I mean, that was a no brainer. I mean, from the minute we announced that this was going to be the last year, my song was Last Dance. And I mean, nobody else was getting that song. It was mine.
So yeah, you're gonna dance to the last dance, and I afforded you the spot to be the last dance of the group of 20 people.
hmm
So how did that feel?
Well, it was awesome that, I mean, again, kind of in our DWS Diaries, I'm kind of the last one because, again, I was the person that was involved all 10 years. And so it was fitting for me to be the last dancer, but I knew in my heart I didn't want to be just that last person on the floor. I wanted us all to be able to finish together. And so there's Charles, my dance partner. Um, and so I, had it, planned out in my head right away that, okay, we need to do some type of, group dance at the end to bring everybody back in. And that song just lent itself so perfectly to kind of, start back up again. I kind of, had the vision of it going dark and then boom, everybody coming back out on the floor. And then not only, also some of our past participants who didn't participate in All Stars, but this was their opportunity to just come out on the floor as well. And so Mina Whitty choreographed a little routine that she videotaped. And then we put that out on YouTube and sent it to all the dancers. And then anybody else who also wanted to be part of it, who wasn't in this show, but just, from previous years. And thank goodness, Jim Rivet wasn't one of the all-star dancers, but I'm so thankful, he agreed to be a part of that last dance because it just wouldn't be the same if he didn't finish out on the floor with us. He needed to be there. And then the second person that also needed to be there was we needed to get you out there too. And so, and we kept that as a secret for you. So
No
you didn't know
idea.
anything about that, that my dance was extended and that everybody was going to be coming out. And then, we talked about the two biggest guys, Zeb and Rock, not that we needed them, but, to hoist you up. And that's the way it should end. And then in my actual song, when it was just me, I did not have the splits in there, but I knew I had to bring back that move as well. So
Of
that
course.
was my opportunity also to bring back my iconic move, me end with the splits and you up on the shoulders of those guys.
And we'll get to that here in a bit, but as we noted earlier, it was a 2-night event, and actually 3 events in 2 nights for us because we did a cast and crew party with Peta and Max at 335. I had that vision for a while. I just thought it would be a neat treat for the participants to be able to do that. And thankfully, Peta and Max agreed. And so we'll go through a couple of those pictures.
Yes. So we had that upstairs of 335. And so we had a little moment and everything with them. So there I am between PETA and Max. And I don't know how we started talking or whatever. And I just said something about, um, dipping or whatever. And so I'm assuming this is your next one. Ta-da! So that was a fantastic moment, getting dipped by Max. Again, like the two of them, they were just so nice. And just Max is like hilarious. So this picture here, the mirror or the Friday event ended, and I was actually going up to my hotel room and saw these two, and they were like headed out. I think Chris was gonna cook them food or something like that. So I was like, hold on. I'm like, I want a Max and Mangler sandwich. So I had somebody take my picture there with them.
That's a great photo.
I know, I love that too.
So Friday night's done, and now it is on to event day. So, walk me through your morning. I know we have rehearsal about noonish, so
Yeah.
like you said, you went to bed after that picture, and then walk me through your morning there on event day.
Yeah, well, to back up a little bit.
Okay, sure.
So the week before, well.
Oh yes, is this?
Yeah, so
Talking about Charles?
his wife, was pregnant. So, so about 4 months before the baby was due or whatever, like Charles tells me, he and his wife are pregnant. I go to my lesson and he tells me this. I'm like, oh, congratulations, da da da. And he's like, and we're due the week of dancing. I was like,
oh boy.
Yeah, I'm like, oh my goodness. So thank goodness. So I was freaking out kind of that last week because I'm not going to lie, we really didn't have a backup plan. So if she would have went into labor that day, and obviously I did not want him to miss the birth of his first child, I and Chelsea would not have had a dance partner. We kind of briefly talked about it with Michael and Mina, and we did have our routine on tape, or we taped it with our phones. So I guess worst case scenario, Friday night, Michael and I would have been practicing my dance. But thank goodness, baby all stayed in. Unfortunately, she couldn't come to the event because she's right. She actually ended up giving birth, I think, the week after. And so that was a little stressful, but it all worked out okay. And so Friday night, I was a good girl, and I said I gotta be in bed at least by midnight. And so all my friends that like came in, and my sister and everything, they all went out till who knows when. And and I had my own room because I figured that they'd be going out. So yes, yeah. So again, I just woke up when I woke up and had that kind of zen moment, and before we knew it, we had our rehearsal time for noon to kind of run through stuff, and we wanted to run through the full part of my dance. So I'm trying to think, how did we keep you out of the ballroom again?
So you had Molly take me and lock me in one of the bathrooms that are part of the reception hall. She went in there and she stood guard. She would not let me out of there until she was given the all clear. So I sat in the bathroom by myself for, I don't know, probably 10 minutes. Is this over yet? Come on. No, you got to stay in there. Don't even try to come out.
Yeah, so it felt good, like having all of us being able to do it on the actual floor, and kind of know like what direction, okay, where's everybody coming from, and like the first year, that first night, or the night before, I was, we talked about it, I was so nervous, and actually got sick. But I don't know, I had almost like a weird calm over me, and I was just ready to do it and just enjoy every single second, because I knew it was the last one.
So you survived the rehearsal, and now what's take me through. I'm assuming it's hair and makeup and getting
Yeah,
dressed, or getting dressed for
yeah,
the reception, because we have a
correct.
reception.
Yeah.
So what
So then
walk
we
me
go
through that part of the
backstage
day.
and we do hair and makeup, which is always just, between eyelashes and bedazzles and jewels and clothes and everything. It's always pretty wild. But again, kudos to our, hair and makeup and everybody who's been a part of it. Because, I mean, they made us all look incredible. Just, and I loved, getting all the fake eyelashes. And Heather, she's like, Jody, she's like, I just had like these little rhinestones, and she's like, no, she's like, you need more. I'm like, okay. So she like let me borrow her ballroom dance little bedazzled things. So I had like on my forehead and on my cheek, and
All
she borrowed me her
those a,
bracelets.
those
So,
alien looking things.
yeah, so I had like more bedazzled bracelets that really, caught the light and everything. And so that was really super sweet of her. She's just like, no, she's like, we need to bedazzle you more. And again, that's where it's just um, where that camaraderie just comes about. And we knew it was the last one, but yet you just don't want those moments to end.
So during the reception, are you out mingling with guests? Are you looking for your guests, or what? What were you doing then?
Yeah, so then so we all wanted to be ready by the time they open up the doors, because yeah, that was our opportunity then to mix and mingle with our friends and family coming in, and just just see people and just socialize. And yeah.
And now it's showtime, and you're number 20
Yeah.
out of 20.
Oh, that was the longest wait, like just waiting. I
So
mean,
where
it was
we
awesome. Like I got, to watch everyone. I didn't get dressed like in my actual dance dress. Probably to like at least halfway through. And because I didn't want to be in that thing the whole time. And but yeah, I mean, it was like I said, it was fun to watch everybody from the sidelines.
I was gonna say,
Um,
where were you? Were you backstage, or did you actually go out in the ballroom, or?
well, ballroom kind of in the corner, kind of. Um, yeah, so I could see everything, but yet I was not like out there on the floor, or in the ballroom, just more on the side.
So you change at about halftime, and walk me through. What are you thinking now as it gets closer to your time, and then yeah, when you're finally on deck
Yeah.
and ready to take to the dance floor.
Again, it was like I wasn't nervous. Like I was excited. Like I was like, all right, Charles, let's do this. And so we get out there, and our routine starts. We're back to back. So our heads are back to back and our backs. That's actually the end of my dance. And so we so my song starts, and so our we're back to back. We both walk out, and then we come back together, and we like do this little move thing, and then we're kind of supposed to do this little spin then. And so for some reason, like it wasn't the actual like the beginning of my song, like there was an extra like few little bars. And so like it's so funny, I just remember to this day, like Charles and I are literally like having a conversation during my dance. I'm like, Charles, that's not the right beginning. He's like, I know, Jody, just go with it. I'm gonna dip you again, put your leg out again. I'm like, okay. He's like, I'm gonna do this. Okay, we're back on now. Now go from here. I'm like, So we are like, you can't really see it in the video at all. I'm surprised, but like, it was like it was like slow-mo. Like we had this whole conversation. Yeah, but it all was good. And I love the dress, the way like when that other one, when I spun around and how it would kind of flail out and everything. We had these little loops on the back, or we were kind of looped around, and his hand went across my back. And so like the little back thing kind of came off right at the end. So I guess you could say I had a wardrobe malfunction. But I still was all tucked in. So it's all just my little fringe my sequins were hanging.
And then you get to the point where the group comes out. So
Yes.
walk me through that, and how are you feeling through all of that? And of course, I still don't know what's going on. I'm just told to be positioned in a certain spot watching the dance, and go through all that, and then how I'm eventually brought out there.
Yeah, so so my dance ends, it kind of goes dark, the lights come back up, the song starts again, and everybody comes out from the different sides, and we have like this little routine that we all do for the last dance. And then Lisa Pritzel, with her little bouncy ponytail, goes bouncing out to go get you from the sidelines and brings you out. And then we have Mimi and Rock, lift you up on their shoulders, and then you can see that I'm, doing the splits there.
Yeah,
with Michael, my original partner.
There's Michael, and then there's me towering above everybody else. Like, oh boy, where am I going?
Yeah.
Where am I going?
Yeah, like that picture you just showed, like that's the way, dancing needed to end. It, not just one individual, because this event is not just about one individual. It is about all of us. And that was the perfect ending to it.
It absolutely was. I had no idea, and Lisa's pulling me out there, and I'm like, okay, everybody is doing choreography. I don't know the choreography, so am I just going to dance here like an idiot, or what? What am I supposed to do? Thankfully, I was guided to the two big guys, or big guy Rock and big gal in Mimi Jackson, and was hoisted up quickly, so I didn't look too lost out there. But very, very special moment for me. I think I gave you a hug right away, and that was emotional. And then
and having Jim out there.
He was one of the next people I saw. I didn't even know that he was out there until all of a sudden I'm looking at everybody who's leaving, and I see Jim, and I'm like, oh my gosh, a nice embrace with him. And Jim Knopf, you had Jim Knopf.
Yeah, Ann came out too.
Ann was out there. Yeah, I think I got to give her a hug as well.
Mm-hmm.
It was really cool. It was an awesome ending. So you did a phenomenal job.
And I think the audience loved it too.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
If we had confetti, that would have been a great time to,
absolutely
blow out confetti.
Mm-hmm.
And
then the reaction from, Peta and Max and stuff too was just awesome.
This is what the last dance should be.
and how he was still busting your balls.
Oh, of course. He goes, oh, I know. Well, first it's funny. Jody. Yeah. And can somebody give you a microphone so I can hear you laugh? And then he says, and Sean, I assume that was a surprise. He had no idea, because he had that look. The look that he's had all weekend. That look on his face of,
Oh God, that was awesome.
Yeah, Max had some fun with me. But I was a good sport. I think he appreciated the fact that I didn't really push back. I didn't have no pride. I mean, how many times in my life am I going to get to say that Max Schmerkovsky busted my chops? So I'm just going to take it like a good soldier and keep doing it. So that wasn't the only surprise.
No.
So then we do raffles. So there were the pro dances, raffles, polka with Peta, slow dance with Max, and then I come out there, and I claim that there's going to be an encore performance. Now, Trish, the director, she made sure that everybody was out to, she did it under the guise of, hey, let's get ready to come back out for awards, make sure everybody's lined up.
Right.
This is another one of my regrets. I regret not having somebody filming your guys' reaction to what's about to happen. But I say there's going to be an encore performance. And what are you thinking in your mind? Who are you thinking is going to be dancing?
Well, we were all back there. Like I said, Trish was like, okay, time for go back out for Grand March. And so I'm, Chelsea and I, we're hanging on to Charles, one on each side and everything like that. And so, and I'm like, encore performance. And then just even before you you started your video and I was like, oh, holy shit, he's dancing. He's dancing. I was like, oh my God, I was pretty geeking out.
I figured nobody was going to guess me. I thought people would think, okay, Pete and Max are going to dance again.
Yeah, that's almost like kind of what I was thinking too. But when you did the video, and then obviously you talked about,
right. I mean,
yeah.
I gave it away in the first 20 seconds of the video, but
correct, yeah. So then I was like, oh my gosh.
So that's the reaction I wanted to get, because I know Rain said that, you two were crying, and Trish said, everybody was just like, oh my gosh, wow, he's actually this, it was just, she said the reaction was priceless. And I wish that I wish I would have had that. Wish I would have had that on tape, but that was what I intended it to be. That's why I kept it a secret for a year. And when I put that video together, I knew that people were going to say what you just said. Oh shit. He's actually.
Well, and the fact that we both had surprises on each other, I think is just awesome.
That's just the coolest thing, that both of us knew that something big and special needed to happen for the finale, but we wanted to keep it a secret. And so I think it's like the double cherry on top of the sundae, because it was just so neat. So Jody had hers, and then, not to be outdone, the rally man had a trick up his sleeve.
Exactly.
As I talked about in the diary with Heather, it was, you watch the video of me and I just absolutely lose it at the end, because it was the culmination of not only a year's worth of hard work on the dance, but 6 years of me producing the event and 10 years in the community. And as I described it in there, it was like I just won the Super Bowl and I retired from football and was inducted into the Hall of Fame, like all in one fell swoop, because it's like that euphoria of winning the championship. So it's like, yes, but then immediately realizing it's all over. And it was just overwhelming.
Yeah. And you also had your daughter there, so she got to see you.
She was in on
the flowers, and
she was in on the secret. So it was so neat to be able to share that with her. And then obviously she sang the national anthem. The show started with her singing the national anthem in front of 1,300 people. At that point, she was 9 years old. And then to close it out with my big dance and her running out, giving me a hug. And she's of that age that it'll be a lifetime memory for her.
Exactly.
So that is, that's priceless.
Correct. Yep, absolutely.
So that wrapped up, that portion. So then, the event wasn't over per se. I mean, okay, we got the open dance and whatnot, and Pete and Max were still on the hook to take a lot of photos with sponsors and other folks. And we had a handful of some fun pictures in there, and I'll cycle through some of these before I get to the super fun ones. This was your idea, which was another brilliant idea by you. So tell us not only about this picture, but just, what they're holding up and how you came up with that idea. I know we saw you and Charles using it before.
Yeah, so, that was kind of like the hot new thing, is the photo frames for different events. And I was like, okay, we need a photo frame for our last year. And so when all was said and done, and the photo frame was done, and it was sitting on the table, and I was like, what am I going to do with this? And then I was like, I'm going to have Pete and Max sign it, and I'm going to keep it. So yeah, so it's actually hanging up in my office, and I gotta read. So PETA's much love, always love PETA, and then Max is save a dance for me, love Max.
That's a
Yeah, I
great,
love that picture.
that's a great photo.
Yeah.
That's a great picture. So what do we have here?
Woo! We have, well, missing a few members of our rage crew, the two boys, Dougie and Paul Fruit, but we got the rest here. And so it was at the very end, and I don't even know. I think, well, Barbara Beeling, I think, was taking our picture, and I don't know. She just started like start dancing or start whatever, and so we just started just totally hamming it up, and oh my gosh, it was one of the best moments. Like, I love every single one of these photos. Do you have any more in there or no? Or just
Those are the two that those are
oh,
the only
okay.
two that I have.
But there's like 6 of them similar that were all doing like different funky poses. And those two were just totally in on it too. I mean, they were, yeah.
Oh, they had a blast.
Oh God, yeah. Well, I think like, because that was kind of the end of the night for them too,
right.
you know? So it's like,
After
we're done. And so, and you know, they could kind of, you know, cut loose a little bit, and it was just us, you know, and they got to know us. So yeah, so it was just a really fun, spontaneous moment.
it absolutely was. And then time for the post game.
Final Guinness.
So we had the final Guinness. We head down to the hotel bar to have a few, and then we had what we called our rage room. So and we never expanded upon that in the diaries. We did talk about how the Rage Crew came together in your second episode, and that we hung out after the Radisson 2013 and almost got kicked out of a hotel room. So then when we moved, next year we moved to the KI, I talked with Mike Jubert from the venue, and I said, is there like some sort of a party room you could give us? Because you work hard, play harder, and we're pretty riled up, and we'll stay up till 4 or 5 in the morning having a good time celebrating. And we almost got kicked out of the Radisson last year, so we prefer not to do it in a hotel room. Is there like some?
We need some soundproofing.
And he says, yeah. He goes, we're a convention center with multiple. It's not, we have smaller rooms. So he's like, yeah, I'll put you down in this hallway. It's away from all the guest rooms, and hence the term Rage Room was born. And he would even stock it with
cheese and crackers and fruit and
he had some snacks, and he had booze in there, and it was awesome. So we hung out in the hotel bar till that closed, and then we went over to the Rage Room, and we invited the cast, anybody that wanted to come. We initially, our first year we kind of kept it to us Ragers, but then actually I think somehow somebody found out that they had this room, and it's like, well, more the merrier. We don't.
For the last year, we let everyone in.
So we let folks in there, and we were going until late, and we had seen on social media that Pete and Max went back over to 335, and they were having a great time over there with Chris.
Yeah, Chris cooked for them and stuff.
And I knew that their flight out of Green Bay was like 6 a.m. and that the limo was going to be picking them up 4:30, 4:45. So we had set a goal. All right, we need to at least stay up long enough to be able to send them off. And it's I'll never. Well, nobody wants to hear me talk. You're the guest, so
they have glass elevators.
Yeah.
So we're just waiting out there because we knew at some point in time they're going to be coming down, and I don't know what time they actually got back to their room, but it was.
Well, they were late. They were late getting to the limo, and they were calling up to the room, and I think they finally did answer. And we're on our way down.
Yeah. So they weren't in their room very long before they had to come right back down to catch their limo. Yeah. And so it's glass elevators. So you got us yahoos all out there waiting, and their eyes are like kind of big like saucers and stuff. And we're like, one final photo. And hugs and all that kind of good stuff. So it was good. It was like a perfect little ending.
That was special. It was fantastic. No better way to wrap up the last dance than by
Mhm.
seeing Pete and Max off 5 in the morning. Even though DWOS is over, the story does not end there. Life after Dancing with Our Stars. Still a few fun adventures to talk about. And it was, well, just a few months after it that you were going to something pretty cool. What was that?
Yeah, so Max and Val, his brother, had their tour along with PETA. And so that was part of one of the auction items that, or raffle items that we had for part. And then I got tickets for my sister for her birthday because it was down in Chicago. And then you surprised me with getting the backstage passes so that I got to see them just a few months later. And so this time I got the Max and Val sandwich, which I will take. And did you do the other one? And I got another dip. And that photo was a little lower, his hand was maybe on my hiney.
Oh boy. Maxim.
To cut it off though, sorry, PETA.
That's a great picture. That's a lot
So
of
this
fun.
time I got the dip from Val, assisted by Max and PETA looking on.
And then another raffle item was a trip to the TV show hosted
Yeah.
by yours truly and you as well. And it just so happened to be that somebody that we know won.
Yeah, Amy with the Red Cross. She works in the blood services. She won, and because you could pick like what prize you wanted, and she was so shocked she won. And we're like, and when they asked her what she wanted for the prize, she like hesitated, and we're like, what the hell? Why are you hesitating?
Cammie she didn't really understand what was going on, and
Yeah.
Cammie's like, "You want the trip to Dancing with the Stars, right?" And she's like, "Sure."
Yeah, we're like, what the hell?
I was so glad we were able to make that a prize, and that's the prize everybody wanted. It was
Yes.
covered airfare, hotel,
Mm-hmm.
and then we were the tour guides if you wanted to, take part in everything we did. Otherwise, we'll just connect on Monday and go to the show. But no,
Right.
they wanted the full Rally Man experience, and
Yep,
I took
Amy and
them.
she brought her friend Jen. She left her husband at home.
Yeah, I took. There they are. There's the crew, good looking crew. And when we went this time, they did allow you to bring cell phones in. They just really push you to not be on them when the cameras are on, which makes sense. You don't want to be watching the show and the audience is looking at their phones. They want everybody's heads to be up and looking straight forward. So that's why we're able to get some really cool pictures inside the ballroom beforehand. And what they do is they allow us to do what before the show?
Well, they allowed us, they had a dance party before the show. So we got to, be down there, and some of the pro dancers were down there as well. Not like mingling with us at the time, but just kind of on the sidelines, like saying hi to some of their friends and family. So you got to see like a sneak peek of some of them right away, and some of the celebrity dancers. And so, yeah, so we're just out there and just, taking photos and doing lives and video and just having a good old time.
And then once again, we were able to go back lot after the show.
Mm-hmm.
PETA and Max were not on the show as far as
No.
participants were concerned. And that she was a little, so when I asked her, hey, do you think you could get tickets to the show? And I could use them as a raffle. And she said, well, I'm not doing the show, but I think because the ticket lady likes me, and I'm like, oh, that's good enough. Let's go forward with it. I trust that it's going to work out. And it did. It worked out just fine. Now I should actually say, so we initially did not have the backlot passes. So we walk up and there's like 2 to 3 different security spots. You're standing outside the lot, like you're out on a sidewalk, and they ask your name. Okay, great. Step on in. Then you give your name to somebody else. You go through metal detector, and then you walk closer to the building, and then you give your name one more time, and then that's where they tell you where to line up as far as where how you're going to get into the building and where you're seated. And I give him my name, and I see him right over there, and I don't see like a little notation saying that we're getting the passes, and he doesn't give them to me. And it was a little bit of a downer, just because once you've been back there, you want to go back
Yeah,
there every time.
exactly.
So I have to break the news to you, and you're a little bit bummed. Of course, the girls are bummed, but they don't know because they hadn't been back there yet. So it's just like, okay, well, whatever. And I'm like, I'm gonna go back. So I go back over by
I
the
stay
guy.
here.
I
You
say,
went by yourself.
I'm gonna go back over by the guy, and I say, every time I tried to make it sound like I've been there. I go all the time. I said, every time that I come here, every time my guests and I are here, we're always granted the backlot passes. Are you sure, that we don't have them? And he's like, what's your name again? And he looks, he's like, well, it doesn't have it marked down here. How many do you need? 4. And he handed them over, and I'm just like, yes. And then you didn't know. I think you had gone in to go to the bathroom, or maybe you were
Yeah,
waiting in
I
line.
think
And
I
then I
did.
showed you, look what I got.
I was like, yay!
So we were able to take pictures with a bunch of the cast, and had a lot of fun. Went back to Craig's, and we saw George Hamilton.
And Liza Minnelli.
Yep, they were sitting in the front booth, and then it was like some music mogul,
Oh,
something or other, right?
and one of the Kardashians. I don't know which one. If
Oh
it
yeah,
was
one of the Jenners, right? Wasn't it like one of the
Kendra,
Jenners?
yeah, or if it was Kendra or um, what's the other one?
One of the Jenner, Kylie.
Kylie, Kendra or Kylie. I don't know which
One
one,
of the
but it was
Jenner
one of them.
girls
Yeah.
were there. So a lot of fun. And then this was this past year. So
Yeah.
Peta, hey, as long as you want tickets, I can get them for you. So now she was back on as a pro dancer. Max was not, but he showed up and was watching from the balcony. And of course, then we saw him back lot.
It was with Lamar, so that was their risky business.
Yes,
Night.
that's why she's barely dressed.
Movie night, yeah.
That's why she's barely dressed. And Dan Terrio and Marty Williams, both from 2016, and then the All-Star year 2018, they went along. Good friends of ours, and I knew that they had planted that seed as well. Hey, if you ever get the chance to go again, we'd love to go with you. So it was a no-brainer there. And so we kept running into Max several times while we were back there. And the first time what did I? So you tell us.
Well, you were like, just, hang back, don't ask people for pictures and all this kind of good stuff. And
Well, because security was being a little tight.
yeah, they were. So we were playing it cool. But then Max comes out and, and he sees me, and he like gives me this big hug, and he's like, rubbing my back and all this kind of stuff. And so then he leaves because he goes, I don't know, by Peter's, one of the trailers or whatever. So I go to the boys. I'm like, did anybody get a picture of that? And they're all like, oh no, Sean, I was gonna, but then I was like, whatever. I was like, you sons of bitches. I'm like, I'm taking pictures of all you guys. I'm like, you can't even get this one moment when Max is hugging me. So then you made amends later. I'll let you tell that part.
So as I said, we keep bumping into Max. He's going to visit people in trailers, and then he's coming back out by the people like us who are, kind of off to the side, trying to grab the celebrities as they come out. And then I say to him, hey, I didn't get a picture of you getting all up with Jody. So, we need to recreate that moment so I can get the photo. And he was a willing participant, as you can see from this picture.
Yes.
So you're welcome, because the fact I didn't take the picture the first time meant that you got to get all cozy with Max 2 times.
Yes. It was fun stuff. And he loves to hear my laugh. So then I had to also laugh for him too.
Absolutely. And,
yeah, and I don't know, he was telling some funny story, and there might have been a snort too, and he's like, what? He's like, there's more?
Oh yeah. And we hit Craig's again after Were there any celebs?
Well, Pete and Max actually came there.
Oh yes,
And
yeah.
Nick Vial or whatever from The Bachelor, they were all there, but they were there for a birthday party. So
Right.
we didn't go up, but when they left, they saw us at a table like
Yeah.
in front of them, and
I
then
jumped out and they're like, "Oh my gosh, you're here again."
yeah, and then
We got to
gave
say
us
hi
hugs
again.
and stuff. Yeah. So we actually got to see him one more time.
Absolutely. And then, as far as you're concerned, you in life after DWOS made a career change. So share more about that.
Yeah. So yeah, after that last year, Last Dance, and I was that March, I was with the Red Cross for 17 years. Yeah. And I just thought, it's been an amazing run, kind of like the show. And I personally was just ready for a change. I was just
And
wanted
actually,
to,
before you get there, talk about dance depression.
oh yeah, ooh, that's a real thing. Event depression. My first year, right after the show, my best friend and I, Kirsten, for our 40th birthday, we actually went to Mexico, Cozumel, in March. So that helped. But then when I came back, like it was still really cold and crappy. And oh, I like it, it took a toll on me, like for a good, month and a half. Like I was like, because it was like go, 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 go. And then you just feel like there's not, you're just nothing to do, or and just to have that stop all of a sudden, it's you get event depression. And then after the last year, we had our trip, and then I come back, and then you're like, oh, it's done. Like you're not starting the next planning season here, like, so then it really hits you like, okay, that was the finale. And so that's when I was like, okay, what a great Red Cross career, from that event, from my time in volunteer management and communications, and then my, time that I had on the biomedical side. And I just felt like I was ready to move on, and I could look fondly back on all of those memories, the opportunities that I had, the people that I met, the lifelong friends, but I was just ready for that next step. So I probably job searched for about 9 months or so, and almost a year a year to the day, on April 8th of this year, was when I landed the opportunity as development director with Operation Fresh Start, which is a local organization in the Madison area. And we support disconnected youth ages 16 to 24 on getting them on the path to self-sufficiency. And it was like, I knew it was instantly meant to be. Like, this was my new next step and next path. And it brought me back to that grassroots again. Because, when I started at the Red Cross, then, 18 years ago, it was more, the local chapters, and we kind of, we're all on our own versus under the umbrella of our national headquarters. And it was very grassroots. And I wanted to kind of get back there again. And with Operation Fresh Start, I had that opportunity. And I just celebrated my year anniversary with them. And I'm, couldn't be happier.
Congratulations. Literally a fresh start.
Yes, literally it was a fresh start. I felt like that name too. Mm-hmm.
Very fitting.
Yes.
So, final thoughts as we wrap up the DWOS Diaries. How did it feel to spend a few hours looking back, reminiscing, sharing stories?
It was amazing. I mean, those 10 years were some of the greatest memories of my life. again, you know, to reiterate, the friendships made, the experiences, you know, from my first year dancing of just completely doing something outside of my comfort zone, and reaching my goal of my 40 for 40 fundraiser and exceeding that, and the support of all my friends and family. And you know, when I look at that final photo, you know, I think it's a really good depiction of, you know, just that mirror ball in my face and just how an incredible the run has been.
On that note, to you and everybody that was a part of the amazing journey, we salute you. Cheers to y'all.
Cheers.
Jody, thanks for all that you've done and for being a part of the DWOS Diaries.
Well, thank you, because there's nobody that I would want to go through this journey with.
Well, I
But
appreciate I appreciate that, and you were the perfect teammate. So we made a heck of a team, and
yes, we did.
more memories to come in the future.
Yes.